Hey, welcome everyone to another Thursday night No Life Beekeeping Chat. Good to see you, Mort, Michael, Phil, Randy, Tritone. I'm sure we got more people going to come in. Hey, Three Boys Bees, DC, good to see y'all. I didn't know if I was going to go live tonight or not. I just was chilling out for a minute. Hey, Robert, and figured I would come on and see what everybody was talking about today. Maybe I'm seeing something. Hey, Eugene, I'm seeing some things over there on we've kind of been keeping up with this hive life and the knobby conferences, right, that are going on. Obviously, Cayman's not with Hive Life anymore. Cayman's at the National Honeybee Expo, or North American Honeybee Expo, Knobby, right? So not NAHBE, I guess is what it is, Honeybee Expo. So I just saw an hour ago. I'm gonna tell you what, this is gonna be interesting because over there on the Hive Life conference page, they just announced that Thomas Seeley is going to be speaking there. So right now they have Kent Williams and Thomas Seeley are the people that I recognize. So it's kind of interesting. It's more of a turning into more of a traditional type conference, and to see, people are going to have to split. Unfortunately, it's going to be a split of what conference these people are deciding to speak at. So I'm kind of just sitting back watching to see where everybody falls, right? All of the people are probably paid to show up now. I don't know. I don't know. I'm sure, it's going to be interesting. I'm trying not to pass judgment on either show, right? I think both shows, if they both go off and they're both successful, then beekeepers win, right? Beekeeping wins. And I think at the end of the day, that's what matters. Not so much on who is the crowd favorite or not, right? So I'm just interested to see who goes where as far as speakers, because there's a finite group of people, and we'll see. Yeah, that's true. I mean, it's more of a social gathering for me. So it's hanging out, right, with people and seeing. So I think it's kind of interesting, and I'm just kind of paying attention to what's happening with Hive Life, more so because Cayman's got if it was a presidential election, right, Cayman's got the popular vote, or what they would call the popular vote. Is that what it is? And then you've got Dustin, who nobody really knows, but he's putting on a show, or having to put on a show, and to see how he responds to it. I'm following all of you all, not Cayman. It's interesting. I don't know. I'm a realist, guys. I kind of try to let people stand on their own merits when it comes to shows or just what they do, right? I mean, how you act and how you present yourself, and more than that, how you treat me and other people makes a difference. So, at least to me, because all the other stuff can be replaced. Money can be replaced. All that stuff can be replaced. But it's going to be interesting to me to see how it plays out. I'm really surprised. I mean, when we hear, I see a lot of comments on it. A lot of people are chastising Dustin. And I don't know Dustin. I've never talked to him. I've talked to Cayman a couple times. I've seen him at the show. So I'm not picking a side or anything. But as far as that whole thing is that Dustin is getting just brutalized by people, right? And it's like nobody even knows this guy, right? And they're just beating him up. Well, just because you're this and this is because you're that. And I'm like, really, guys? I mean, he is. I mean, as far as like what he's put out there, he's actually backed it up with I won't say proof, but he's put some information, to back it up where it kind of seems credible at first glance, even when you don't know everything. So, and then you don't hear anything from the other side to refute that. Really, they just kind of let it go or push it off. So, I don't know. I think it's the whole drama part of it is really a detractor, a negative part about the whole thing. I hope both conferences are successful. And so, that is what it is. That's about all I've got to say about that as far as the conferences. And, either way, more than likely I'll be at the at the Nobby because, Lee is going to be there. Other people I know will be there. That's probably what it'll end up being. So it's just one of those things that I'm watching to see how he recovers or if he can recover from it. And I really do hope that, first of all, I hope they iron it out together. But here's Charlie. Charles.
Hey.
What's going on?
Well, not much.
I was just I don't know how much of you caught, but I was just seeing.
You were talking about Hive Life versus I call it the Kentucky Expo.
The Kentucky Expo. Well, I just saw where Hive Life added Thomas Seeley to their speakers list today. So
I'll have to check that.
And out. I think that I'm going to say this. I don't think it's a Dustin product. I think that's a Kent Williams product, right? Kent Williams being in the background there. I think that could kind of help with the speaker part of that whole thing. And if you're a businessman, and you own a beekeeping supply company and you're not looking to be at both places or have a representation at both places if they're doing it, then you're not a real businessman. You should not be picking politics of a show, either way. If you're a businessman and you're looking to do business, then you need to do business for all beekeepers on both sides of the fence, right? Not just say, oh, we're only going here because that's not good business, bro, in my opinion. So
now the other guy, John Benham, isn't he the guy that's in Columbia, PA that Bob Binney and Duck River Honey went over there and talked to him? They made a video about him.
That name doesn't strike me right off the top that I recognize his.
All right, I got their bio here. It says full-time beekeeper for 20 years, operating 40 plus colonies in 3 apiaries, breeder of quality local queens. He's an EAS certified master beekeeper. Whoopie-doo.
Tell us how you really feel, Charlie. Oh my God.
Life member of EAS since 2019, president of the HAS. I don't know what the HAS is. It's probably a local bee club, I guess. President of the Mammoth Cave area beekeepers. I've heard of them. They're around the I think Knoxville area, I think.
Right.
He's actually from 2017 to present current member of the Nashville Area Beekeepers Association, a monthly columnist for the NABA newsletter. National
Mammoth Cave.
Huh?
DC says Mammoth Caves. Mammoth Cave.
Well, as a past member, president, officer of the state and local associations. Blah, blah, blah. Shares his love with bees, mentor, speaker, instructor, volunteer, organizer of the state, local, regional, and national associations. I'm not sure what I've seen this guy. He was at the Honey Show in 2018 down in Knoxville. That's where I learned how to graft. And Kenton Williams was one of the instructors, and he taught me how to graft and all. Excellent speaker. Don't pull
Well,
no
you know, if they work together on this, which is not going to happen, but if they did work together, they could literally have speakers on Saturday at Hive Life. Those speakers from Hive Life on Saturday could drive to Louisville and they could talk on Sunday. And the ones from Nobby on Saturday could drive to Sevierville and talk on Sunday. And that way you could get all the speakers at both conferences. At both.
I'll look at it this way. Maybe he can get this if Hive Life wants to continue on and wants to be successful, then get off of Cayman's date. Make it a later show in the year, you know?
Well, I think part of the thing with Hive Life, though, is Hive Life had those booked already from last year, right? So that was already, they were locked into that. They couldn't, I don't think
I'm not saying this. I'm not talking about this coming year. I mean, he definitely, like you say, it's locked in. Yeah, let's see. I'm continue reading on here. Training and instruction on has recently received training in artificial insemination of honeybees. He is a scheduled speaker at the 24 Hive Life conference. Blah blah blah. That's it. But I thought John Benham.
But the as far as the conferences, wherever I go, I'm gonna have fun.
Yeah.
And like I said,
the big thing, like you say, I think I caught it where you were saying you were going to
hang out with you guys. That's why I'm going.
Hang out, everybody. We're all
and take advantage of the deals if I can. That's what it boils down to.
If there's any,
obviously, a lot of the speakers have that same content on YouTube, right? Yeah. They really do. So it's with maybe a little bit, updated versions or something like that. But it's for me, it's just about hanging out with you guys. The same thing. So we've been doing this show just a little bit less than the stream team has been doing their show, right? Right now, impromptu, not scheduled. We got 33 people on right now. There'll probably be more people that roll in. We'll probably get 60 or 70 people on, right?
Yeah. Now the guy that I was thinking about, I'm on Benny's. His name is Dick Brickner, and that is not the Brickner. That's not the guy that's listed.
And I haven't offered. I mean, Cayman's welcome to come on here. Anybody is, right? We've got a link at the top. It can be joined at any time, right? And we don't get that. Hey, let's go talk to those people over there. And I guess I kind of get it. I don't know. I mean, it doesn't bother me really, but it's like, it's very, to me, it's a very methodical thing that's going on here. Very methodical.
You're talking about where Cayman comes on to the different other people's shows?
Yeah. And, I get it.
What I don't quite understand is like you stated, what's he got? 50-some thousand subscribers?
Yep.
Why isn't he just going on his own show and be done with it?
Yeah, I don't know. I have a feeling.
Or is that illegal? Or is there a legal situation?
And I'm going to say that I think there is a little legal thing happening there. I don't know. I don't know this person, but hey, welcome to the stream. Hey, LS.
Well, hello, gentlemen.
How you doing?
I've been watching y'all for several weeks, and I just now figured out how to get on this thing.
Well, from your accent, you sound like you're from my neck of the woods down here somewhere.
Down around Meridian, Mississippi,
Okay.
actually, where it's good and hot.
Oh yeah, it was actually cool here in South Carolina today because it was rainy and cloudy. But
yeah, I'm crazy about beekeeping, about like y'all, and just eat up with it. I do a lot of cutouts all year. I'm
that seems to be a Mississippi thing.
I don't know about that now.
Well, Dirt Rooster's down that way, right? Mississippi.
Yeah,
He's down around Gulfport, I think, or in that area.
yeah. There's nobody in this area that does cutouts, so I've got a kind of a void there that I moved into, and I don't know. I enjoy it. I don't know if you can see some of my bees behind me. Let me see.
We've got Bohemian bees.
There's some more.
Jason, what do you want, a boat?
It's pretty junky looking, but
I'm on a plane.
Where are you flying to?
Louisville.
You're going to Louisville right now?
I'm getting ready. I'm going for the conference. I'm getting ready. I'm like gonna go wait in Louisville.
You're gonna go wait in Louisville.
No, I'm
Yeah, I
actually
heard
going to Louisville for the Street Rod Nationals. I was in Atlanta today, and I'm flying down to out to Louisville to check out that show. So,
Okay, well, that'd be cool.
getting on a plane. I didn't mean to cut you off. I know the LSBs was chatting, so I just jumped in.
I just stepped in for a minute or two. I hadn't got long to stay on. I got a busy day ahead of me tomorrow.
Yeah, man.
That's yes. So you're out in your bee yard right now, Les?
Yeah, I'm just walking around, just to show y'all that I do have bees.
Yeah.
Looks like you got a lot.
Nobody
of
would
new-
admit that
lot of new-
addiction unless they had it.
Oh, I've got all kind of tin propped up on them and everything else, trying to keep them cool. But my goodness, I swear I don't see how they stay in boxes around 3 o'clock in the afternoon. It gets hot up here, man.
What's your
It
Watch,
was
Jason's gonna say slatted racks.
You gotta say you need to get some slatted
98
racks.
today.
98, geez. Get yourself some slatted racks. You'll be good.
Slatted racks.
So I'm trying to look the principle behind. Explain the principle behind the slatted rack. I know. I mean, it's basically a spacer, and then it's got slats on it where they can climb up. But are the slats offset from the frames?
No, they're in line with the frames.
Or are they right in line with them?
I might have to drop here a few because they're going to do their little onboarding thing, and then I can come back in once I get up in the air. But I might have to, yeah, exactly.
Later.
I did a good video on it though, on explaining your question, Bob. So you might want to. I can send you a link to it and you can take a look at it. But it's proven well, especially with these. Charlie knows these last week or two has been really hot in our area. And every solid bottom is bearding everywhere in my apiary. Everybody that has a screen bottom with a slatted rack, no bearding. So it works.
Slatted rack. Never heard of it.
It makes the bottom like
It's
a
an old time. I'll say an old time technology. I guess you would call it.
It is. Yep.
He's got the bearding going on too, like I do.
Yeah, I got to drop down. Take it
They
easy.
on the front
Jason, stay
porch.
flat,
All right, Jason.
No, Bob, you and Charlie taught me to use that Apis Biologics.
Yes, sir.
And for the last 2 weeks, I've been feeding them with it. And, man, the stuff seems to be working. My bees look healthy for a change.
You'll be surprised that real surprised, won't you, Charlie?
What are you doing, Apis?
Yeah, Apis, yeah.
Well, you be careful with that because I mean they just like they say, it's rocket fuel. It's gonna they will take off.
Myself.
I'm
putting out probably 2 gallons of sugar water every other day. I'm not overdoing it.
2 gallons? How many colonies?
probably 24. A lot of them are cut out. Some of them are not that strong. Some of them are pretty strong. None of them are strong enough to be what I would call production quality.
Right.
But some of them's double box, 5 frame. I got a couple of 10 frame double box. And some that about like yours, Bob, just pathetic. I mean, it's not 2 handfuls of bees in it. I'm like,
you just hear that? He just called my bees pathetic.
No.
Some of mine are just
I
like
said
yours,
it's
Bob,
pathetic up here or down here. Oh, you kill me, brother. Especially shaking them bees up in the trees.
They're shaking
Oh,
them
man.
into the trees. That's it.
Oh, that's so funny.
Yeah,
But
I mean,
last year, this time, I started losing hives. And I had
me too.
probably 25 and ended up with 12 going into winter and come out of winter with 2.
That's that's right now is when the hive beetles and wax moths down here really can put an impact on your colonies, right? And,
Yep.
And it don't matter. I mean, I had a really strong colony. I was like, there's no way nothing's going to take this one over unless it was the M word, which we're not going to talk about. We do that tomorrow night on Charles' channel.
That's Friday night.
M&Ms and M&Ms and what M treatment we're going to use and all that is. This is no M Thursday tonight. But as far
I got
as hive beetles and wax moths, we'll talk about those. They will.
But I am kind of following your footsteps on not going in them as much, and plus Mr. Ed down there, you know, he goes in his twice a year, and I've just been staying out of them. I don't know what they look like inside. I crack the top on them every now and then. You know, if it's full of bees, I just ease it back down.
Right. Well, it's going to sound stupid. You spend all year trying to build your bees up, but this time of year, I mean, if they're not going to make it and they die out, I don't stress it. I take that equipment out and now I get it ready for either next spring or for the next colony to build back into, right? It gives me that natural ebb and flow, right? Build it up and then cut them back, and now you got that little buffer of equipment that you got to use when they're not filled all the way out.
Right. I've got a pretty good cutout. It's 100 miles from here Saturday. And crap, I'm out of equipment. I got to dig up a 10 frame box somewhere out here and a bottom. So I might have to steal one off of a hive that's got a double on it and they're not using it.
Now, in that situation there, I presume you're charging these folks to travel that far?
Oh, yeah. Yeah. When I first started beekeeping probably 10 years ago, I was doing it free. I wanted the bees. And I learned after 2 or 3 cutouts, hey, man, it's a lot of work for this stuff.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, they can pay me or find somebody else.
That's how I look at it now. It's like, hey, you can have the bees. Well, hell, I got bees. I don't need bees.
Yeah,
I got
75 hives. What do I want another one for?
Yeah. I'm doing this.
And I put everything back in order and all that stuff. And a lot of them this year I've gotten out. It's between the first and second floor in 2-story houses. They're going in, the bottom floor will be brick and then the second story will be siding, and they're going in right there under the band. And so most of the time, hopefully they got carpet in the room upstairs, and I can just unpin the carpet along the tack strip and just cut the plywood, get them out and put the plywood back in, put the carpet back in, boom, boom, gone. But if you have to go through the band on the outside, you can be reaching as long as your arm trying to get up in there to them, and they wearing you out the whole time.
Oh, did we lose him?
Anywho.
Oh, I think we're losing your your signal a little bit there, LS.
Oh man, let me move around some more. We way down south. We down here in the boonies.
So, Ellis,
All
do you do any like honey production type stuff or not?
Well, let me see. Probably 5. I do a lot of nuke selling and queen grafting and that kind of stuff. And about 5 years ago, my wife was showing my beehives to her sister, and I had like 40. And they were out there walking around, and I heard her mention to her sister, she said, but something's wrong with the bees. They don't make honey. So I said, okay. So I set up, it was 6 or 8 production hives the following year, and we made 44 gallons of honey. It was right at
The
9 5-gallon buckets.
The magic.
And so that ended that statement.
That's 528 pounds.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
That's where I'm at with
we
my
made honey galore. And I told her, I said, look, you can have all the honey, go sell it, make you some money. And all I want back is the money for the bottles and the labels. And at the end of the term, she was broke. I said, what? I said, you just sold $4,000 worth of honey and you broke? But that was funny. But anyway, this year we're not doing anything as far as honey because that last freeze we had, it knocked it in the head. My bees have been a dearth since end of March. I've been feeding them and they wearing it out. Plus, I've been 19 cutouts. I've had a lot of, cone and stuff to feed them honey out of other hives. But the cutouts I'm doing, there's just not any honey in them. It's just very slim.
I had a lady tell me that today. She said she bought a house, but before she could sell her old house, there was a beehive in it she had to get removed. She had a hard time finding anybody that wanted to come do it to get them to commit. Well, I already know why that is, because nobody wants to pay you to tear their house up, right? Where they have to fix it. They just want the bees gone. And but anyway, she said she had a hard time getting it. And then I said, well, did you at least get some honey out of it? And they're like, no, there wasn't hardly any honey in the hive. So it's been that kind of year, I think, all the way around. Even the
I went behind a couple of pest control companies here this summer, and that's funny. They're not able to kill those bees. They go in there and shoot tips. Bob, you might hold on a minute. Get out of the way.
You got
We're
one
about 4 miles from the Navy base up here where they do all the training. And
right.
But anyway, they put some kind of white powder dust in the hive. You familiar with that?
Yeah, we have it, but we don't kill bees at my company. Right.
Anyway, they put it in, and then the guy called me a week later and said, man, I got bees and I can't, they're still active, and I've had pest control treat them. And I said, well, let's give them another week or two. And they were booming, they done started bearding. And so I went in, took the board off, and there they were. And they were the white dust was all over everything in there. And they were just rolling in it, having. I don't know if it was flour or what, but it wasn't affecting them bees.
Well,
it didn't do anything for them.
Chris says I can kill them. We work on the
Put the gas to them. If that don't work, just throw a match to
them. Delta dust. Yep, that's the. But we so being a beekeeper for our company is, at least where I'm at. Chris has a different boss. So what I do is they still call, if someone calls for bees, they send it to me, and I go get the bees. And if it's a cutout or something, they'll let me do it on the clock, but I got to charge. And if I charge, then the company gets the money, I get the bees and everything, and I get, I get a commission. So I'm still getting some payoff of it, but it's one of those things that usually by the time they call the pest control company for them, they've already tried to kill them a couple times, or they're way up and you can't, I'm on a ladder on the back of my pickup truck trying to get them out of the Holiday Inn Express drive-through.
Yeah, about to break your neck.
So yeah, they not a lot of them want to actually pay for that service. That's what I'm finding. Now, if they're on a car or something like that, I'll come and get them, and I won't charge them for those. But because they're easy.
But I don't.
Right?
Yeah, it's a low-hanging fruit there. But most people don't really realize, the buildup of cone and stuff that they can have in their house, until you remove the cover and show them, hey, and then, they just
6 foot wide. Right?
Yeah.
They're like, see, now you just tried to kill the bees, and what you would have had is a bunch of I say rotting honey. We know honey don't go bad, but when the beetles and all get in there and the roaches and everything else, slimed it out.
Yeah. And wax moths galore trying to eat the old wax out. And then the next hive moves in, next colony moves in next spring. And just, it's a never ending cycle.
Mm-hmm.
And before long, they're coming through the sheetrock in the house.
I don't know why I got bees in my bathroom.
They're all in the bedroom.
They done walk through the whole thing and come the water pipe into the cabinet in the kitchen, underneath the sink and everything else.
Yeah, so many people see wasp nests, 50 or 75 wasps, and they think a beehive's similar. And you open that sucker up, and there's 15,000, 30,000 bees in there. Yeah, you killed about 15 sitting on front of the hive this evening with some hornet spray. You really done some good. But anyway, I just thought I'd chime in with y'all and see if I can get this thing working. I'm not technical inclined at all.
Job, because I'm gonna tell you, 97% of the people that come in the first time, you hear the loop feedback and everything, and yours sounds perfect. So we appreciate that.
Yeah, and Charlie, I can feel for you on that hay baling, brother. I've done that in my school years. God, there ain't but one job hotter, and that's to grab a chainsaw and go in the middle of the woods with it when it's this hot. You standing over a fire.
My bees would have been done a long time ago, as far as like getting all the extra boxes off of. If it would have been cooler, if every day would have been like today, it would have been done already. I mean, I worked all day, didn't even crack a sweat. But, of course, I'm at the day job today, right? So I couldn't get that done because when I got off, it was raining. But that's not usually the case.
How do y'all stay up so late? I watch your,
old man nap, brother. I take a nap when I get home.
I watch the talks at 5 o'clock the next morning, and y'all talk, oh, it's 11 o'clock or it's 11:30. We're going to shut it down. Man, I'm in bed at 8:30 every night. I'm pushing the limit now.
Well, the thing of it is we start at 8, like, well, let's see, this is what, Thursday? Yeah. Tomorrow is Friday. I'll start my show at 8 o'clock. And then Bob starts their Tuesday show at 8. But that gives to folks out on the West Coast, they're just coming home at 8 o'clock in our time, 8 o'clock our time.
So it's like 5 o'clock their time. So they're eating dinner and then they get off, and now it's 9, 10 o'clock our time. So we end up going to 11 or midnight.
Are y'all on Central or Eastern? Y'all on Eastern, aren't you?
Mm-hmm. Eastern time.
Okay, I'm on Central.
Okay.
It's 8:19. So we go on
at 8, and you're looking at us at 7 o'clock in the evening.
And something I've never understood, say a prime show comes on at, say, 8 Central, 9 Pacific, or whatever.
Right.
Those people are setting up at 9 watching a 2-hour show, and me at 8 o'clock, it's over at 10 o'clock. Is that the way it works?
Pretty much, yep.
I mean,
Football
I can't
games
stay
and
up
stuff?
till just
Yeah, but you got to
movies, stuff
remember
like
something
that.
like one of our friends, James. He lives on the west coast of Canada, and it's still daylight until 10 o'clock
Yeah,
at
we'll be
night.
sitting here talking at 11 o'clock at night, and he's still got the sun in the back of his window over there.
Oh yeah.
You know, it's the rotation of the earth. It's just, you know, they have a longer, you know, it takes longer for the sun to set for them.
Yeah, I went
So,
with a church group one time to Battle Creek, Michigan, and I think it was about this time of year. And I asked the group, it was 75 of us went building a structure and what time are we going to knock off? About dark. Oh, no big deal. You know, it gets dark around here about 8:15. Shoot, man, it was 9:45 and the sun, you could still see it at the horizon. I was like, crap.
yeah.
Now think if you were a farmer.
And then you get back up at 5 the next morning.
Oh yeah, and do it all over again.
Yeah. Where here, I'm, you know, in bed by 9 o'clock and getting up at 5 is no big deal. Sitting there watching Bob and Charlie talk about bees. Or
babble about
the M word,
we don't.
or
The M word.
Well, for a couple of weeks there, it was an extractor and a decapping machine separator.
Yeah. That's well. The thing
y'all
is,
got that figured out.
Here's my philosophy on it. We all know, and I'll say the M word. We all know we got to treat for mites. It's pretty much at this point. I think it's a given, right? It's a almost. Do you even need to talk about it? Everybody, if you're not treatment free, you already know you got to treat for the mites, right? But you go on every single stream, every single YouTube channel. It's like, oh, we got to do our mite shakes. We got to use our new oxalic acid vaporizer, or our new mite shake cup, and our, you know.
Oh boy. Oh man.
So I just get to the point to where we talked about it, like, for what, Charlie? Come on. We talked about mites for about 6 months straight. It's like every show is like mite this, mite that. What are you doing for mites in the spring? Doing Apivar.
Well, now that decapping machine was a big topic there for a long time too.
Oh, I still get hate on that uncapping machine. Why'd you buy an uncapping machine? You got to sell 50,000 pounds of honey to pay for the uncapping machine. I'm like, I already sold the honey.
I wish I had enough honey to need one.
You know, well, I don't have enough honey to need one. Damn. I mean,
maybe next year. That's
Bob's he's Mr. Gadget.
I had enough,
the latest gadget.
I had enough honey to want one, I guess. I don't know. But you know, it is faster. I will say that. It does make it faster for me. Even if I'm loading it one frame at a time and spinning it, it's still faster than popping it up there, uncapping both sides.
Oh yeah. I sit there with a knife, you know, and have it setting up on a nail and a board, and it's after 40 or 50 frames, you know, it gets old.
Yeah.
But you know, you hear Rooster talk or Mr. Ed, you know, they don't treat. So if you treat and you still lose bees, and you don't treat and you still lose bees.
Here's the difference between Rooster and Mr. Ed and us normal people. Yes, I called him abnormal. And Randy, I know you're probably going to watch this. So the thing is that they are constantly getting more bees for free.
Yeah.
Or they're getting paid to get people bees on cutouts, right? So it's like where if Mr. Ed,
well, like LS, here down there in Mississippi, don't you have open air beehives up in the trees and stuff like that?
I have got a couple of 3 out, but I don't really notice anymore. That's all I've seen in my 10-year beekeeping.
Okay. I mean, I've seen Mr. Ed
and they are hard to keep in a box.
Well, I mean,
you put them in a
they'll
box.
be up in a tree with comb on a tree, and it's no protection for the comb at all, and because of the weather down there and everything. So
Yeah,
I mean,
and
it's
you
a
put them in
different
a
area.
box, and a week later, they back out again, hanging on a tree.
Look who's
And
on there.
Hey, hey, look, you see who
I got
commented,
where I
right?
put.
I'm listening while I drive. We're talking about you. You're abnormal. We just said it.
Oh, that's the dirt rooster. I'm gonna get that way and meet him one of these days. I'm not that far from him. He's
And
come up in my neighborhood doing cutouts. I think he was in Butler, Alabama, not too long ago.
I don't know. He's
That's
kind of
not but about
famous now.
30
He's
miles
like
from my house.
he's on tour right now. Every week I see I'm at this conference this week. I'm speaking at this conference this week. I think they do it just because he's got that southern accent. That's why the South is exporting him up to the north all the time now, so they can listen to his accent.
Yeah, that's what happened when I was in Michigan. I went to a little old convenience store, and two little old schoolgirls in there running it. And I said, I need a BC powder, from behind the counter. She said, what'd you say? I said, a BC powder. And she said, she called that other girl over. She said, come over here and listen, see if you can understand him. Say it again. I said, a BC powder. I was getting aggravated. That wasn't. And they started laughing. They said, we just like to hear you talk. Oh, boy.
Hey, I'm surprised you didn't ask for a goodies. A goodies powder. You could throw all of them. But
yeah, give me $1. I'll talk some more.
Yeah, that's right. That's but I think we do the same thing when I see people all day, every day, and I hear accents from all over, and I can kind of generalize the region of the country they're from. And I'm like, oh, you're from New England, aren't you? Oh, yeah, we're from Connecticut or, whatever. You just kind of get that. And people look at me and they're like, well, you don't sound like you're from down here. And I said, well, originally I'm not. I've only been here since 84. It's not like it's not like I've just moved down here. And then I go up north and they're like, you sound like you're from down south. So it's just little things you pick up, I guess.
Yeah, you getting it. Charlie's got a good accent. I can pretty well determine, he's from across the Mason-Dixon line. But my accent, I think, is pretty normal.
Well, actually, I'm in Maryland, so I'm on this side of it.
Yeah. Oh, boy.
Chuck from Maryland. Chuck from Maryland. Yeah. So with Charlie, I give him heck a lot when he's speaking, and he says, you got to be Pacific about that, or Warsh. Warsh is about as southern sounding as you can say, and you're about the most northern person I know of that says Warsh, Charlie. You got the Warsh basket.
I don't know. I know up here in Baltimore, they'll instead of saying sink, some people say, look at that now. Bacon, egg, and cheese.
That's a whole pig on there, y'all. Rooster, don't you stop by my house. I ain't got no extra. So, yep. This what your wife wants to cash in on your insurance. What do you give the guy with a heart issue? Lots of cholesterol, fat and cholesterol. She's like, really?
That's where you go with that?
Yeah.
God, you need to quit watching the ID channel.
She's gonna smack you upside.
I gotta make sure there's no arsenic on here or any any antifreeze.
You're going to die from that anyway.
I'm stopping at a Chinese buffet. Oh, okay. This is gonna sound racist, guys, so I'm just gonna have to put it out there. One time, my family and I were at this Chinese buffet, and my kids were getting shellfish off the buffet, and my wife says, "Oh, you're not supposed to eat shellfish or like crab and stuff like that if the month doesn't end in what was it with an R? I think it was with an R, something like that, right?" And I said, "Well,
yeah,
hun, it is." I said, "Well, hun, it is July if you're in China." Jirai. So we got a big chuckle out of it, but well, we're talking about the way people sound. But my wife is killing me slowly too, one bite at a time. I know, just keep feeding the beast. Fried steak sandwich with bacon and cheese and butter.
I heard you mention gizzards one night. Charlie, you really need to try some fried gizzards with hot sauce. Man,
Yeah.
I love them.
Ain't no way. We don't do that.
Man,
You can
awesome.
chew on them son of a guns. Get you about 6 of them at a convenience store, and you can chew on them for 100 miles.
And they fry them in like fried chicken batter, and they're nice.
Oh
and
yeah.
On the outside. That man, you've never had fried chicken gizzards before, Charlie? I can't eat. I don't like the livers, but fried chicken gizzards.
I don't like livers, or I don't like them.
I'm not gonna eat the livers. That's fish bait.
But you put.
At least she's talking about raw oysters. Yeah, oysters are big up around this way. I'm
not eating raw oysters.
Yeah.
No.
Guys, my laser is still going. That's all the done ones on the chair over there, and that's so.
Well, at least it's working. Mine would have torn up by now.
With them. So, and I'll be able to put them.
So, LS, you're more or less a nuke producer, is what you do?
I've done, that's what I've done a lot of. It was a lot of people calling, wanting to buy a nuke and wanting to buy nukes. And so I said, well, heck, that's what I'm going to go for. And so about the second year of grafting, I pushed it, boy. I pushed it hard and got up. My goal was 100 hives, and I got up to 97. And I think I lost 40 something through the winter just because I had run on into September grafting and my drones had dissipated. One queen go out and destroy 18, 30 drones, just by getting mated. And so that takes a lot of drones. And I just didn't have the drone power to get them mated decently and all that stuff. And so I quit grafting now about the 1st of July. Just because my drone population goes to pot. I mean, I don't know of any other beehives in the area. I'm sure there's probably a feral beehive out there somewhere, but there's no beekeepers near me at all.
That's about what it is here around. Somewhere's either some people stop the 1st of July or maybe the end of July for sure, and that's pretty much it. So that must be pretty common, in our area.
How much do nukes?
But if I had probably a drone yard within a mile of here, where they were really punching out some drones, a lot of green frames and stuff, I would push it some more. But I just think the mating just goes, the quality of it goes really downhill.
Yeah. So what are you using for your grafting tool?
The old Chinese grafting tool. Little old red one, get a dozen for $5 or whatever they are.
Yeah.
And you have to pick through them. And I'll take sandpaper, wet and dry sandpaper, 400 or 600 grit, and, rub it on it until I get it really limber and, get it to working. And problem I had going into this year, I had a lot of yellow foundation, and I like black. You can see what's going on.
That's what I do.
Yellow is hard to work with.
What's the
I buy black acorn
down there where you're at?
Yeah. What you say?
What's a nuke go for down there where you're at?
130.
Really?
Yeah, I saw it. The reason I asked it is I saw someone
cheaper down here.
Down that.
A pint of honey.
What's a queen go?
What's pushing it at $9? What you say?
A queen's $9.
What you say, Charlie?
How much is a queen? Mated queen?
A queen's 30, 35. It depends.
Okay, that's what we're getting, 35, 40.
Yeah, a pound of honey, you pushing it at $9. $8, you can get it all day long, but when you go to $9, it changes. And people, when they taste the real deal. You know, they understand what they've been buying in stores. You know, it's totally different taste.
Yeah, we're
Kind of like a
getting
homegrown tomato and a supermarket tomato.
Yep.
we're getting 200 a nuke over here, 205 right in that
Good
area.
grief. I could just about ship them up there and come out.
Yep, that's the that's you know, when I started seeing the prices down there, I was like, man, that's pretty inexpensive. So up here, I mean,
Yeah. And so many beekeepers, you know, when you start, you know, after 2 or 3 years, you really think you know it all, and you're selling nukes and they're not worth a flip. And now I look back, you know, I know what a good quality nuke should look like. And there's people out there that's selling, you know, just trash. And then you got the shysters out there that'll pull out 2 or 3 good brood frames and stick in with a dumb bar of a queen and make it look like she's laying real good. You know, look at her pattern, this, that, and another. And about a month later, the people are calling you, hey, man, all the drawn cone cap brood is hatched and the queen's not doing anything. You know, I try to give people what, you know, their money's worth, the way I'd want to be treated.
Right.
Without rubber bands over all the frames, you know, showing cut out cone. I don't sell that.
well,
Yeah.
I try to do the same thing, and I've even now what I have done is I make my nukes up ahead of time, and if I know someone's coming to get nukes the night before, the evening before they pick them up, I go back through them. And I have shook extra bees in them to give them some more power if they look like, you know, maybe some extra foragers went back home, or, you know, whatever. I'll give them some extra bees in there, but I don't, you know.
And one good trick too, some people use is to go in there and, you know, if you got a real strong nuke and she's got 3 frames of cap brood, pull a frame out and put in another 5-frame box, and, you know, let them make the queen cells and put an empty frame in its place. And or either let them come pick up their bees, you know, around dinner time when half the hive's out working, stuff like that. There's so much smoke and mirrors goes into, you know, selling bees and honey. It's unreal.
What I try to do is I make up my nuke, and then I'll go out after dark and close them up. So all the bees that are supposed to be in that box are in that box. And then I try to get them to come early in the morning to pick them up. So they're still in the box.
They hadn't got to sit there caged up all day.
Or if they say I'm not coming till the evening, then I'll let them fly and try to get them to come after dark to pick them up where I can close them back up, you know. But,
yeah, I like to even get their box, you know, and keep it for a week or so and move everything into their box. And that way, you know, give me a heads up on come early, you know, like you say, and block them in early that morning.
And that way,
anyway, getting what they pay for.
Well, we didn't watch the Mississippi sun go down.
Yep.
So I had you laughing about taking my bees into the trees, huh?
Oh yeah, I shook mine up in the trees. Maybe I'm really got high hopes on hitting that lottery tomorrow night. And if I do, I'm going to travel up the East Coast and see both your guys.
Well, I hope you do hit.
Give me some gas money.
Yeah, right. What is it? It's over $1 billion now.
Yeah. Yeah.
The Mega Millions.
Somebody's going to get it this weekend, I think. You know, when it gets up that high, you got people out there with a lot of money. They'll go out there and buy 1,000 tickets, stuff like that, you know.
You know what it would happen if I bought 1,000 tickets? I'd have 1,000 losers.
Yeah.
Wow.
And you wouldn't want to tell nobody.
No, they would know too, because I'd be all frowny faced.
Trying to figure out how you gonna recoup.
Damn, I need to sell another 100 pounds of honey.
Well, where's everybody at tonight? Is tonight an off night?
Yeah, normally we don't. I have been going on Thursday nights, but we find out that if I go too much, then when Charlie's rolls around, then it's like, well, we talked about all this last night. So that's why I don't talk about mites. I got to give something Charlie to talk about on Friday nights. Mites.
I tell you something, it is working good right now as a solar melter. God.
Oh yeah,
Man, I've been melting wax every day. Cut out wax is full of hive beetle maggots and the whole 9 yards. Just burn them up.
Let them go.
But about the peppermint deal, what's your conclusion on it?
I noticed
I haven't heard much talk about it this year.
I haven't used it that much this year, to be honest with you, and I have more hive beetles this year than I had last year. And last year I had less hive beetles than the year before when I didn't use it. So I've got to say that I noticed a drastic difference in the amount of hive beetles in my colony when I used peppermint all year. Now, take that for what it's worth.
I bought a bottle of peppermint extract at the grocery store, and thought about mixing that up in Crisco or something, but there again, I hadn't done it. It's been out there in my shop for 3 weeks.
I put it in my pollen patty. When I mix my pollen patty, I put peppermint extract in it. I put peppermint extract or peppermint essential oil in my sugar syrup last year. It did seem to help. I'll tell you, I see more beetles this year than I did last year, for sure. There's Bruce. Bruce's bee. Not much, Bruce. How you doing? And Brad, welcome back to the stream. And I almost took a beat down for showing my wife that the Matrix video. It's funny though. It is. I found it hilarious. She didn't find it.
The guy's delivery. The guy's a person's delivery is everything. And the guy's delivery is great. So evening, LSBs. That's what I know you by. So we haven't met. So good evening. Nice to see you.
Yeah. My real name's Larry. My wife wanted to be a part of the bee factory I got going on. So my last name's Salter. So I put LS on all my honey bottles, and she thought she had my name and her name on it. Her name's Sherry.
Oh,
so
all right.
L for Larry, S for Sherry. So I saved the marriage and got my name on it at the same time.
And if you're a smart man, you let her think what you want.
Just now figured it out.
That's exactly it.
Well, nice to meet you, Larry.
Well, you too.
Brad, what you got going on tonight? I know you probably had a hard day in the yard.
Oh, nothing. Yeah, I'm exhausted. Actually, I didn't spend much time in the yard at all.
You were in the honey house because I saw
just a little bit. I was in a honey house. Yeah, just trying to set that up, and it's just kind of a pain, among other things. I went to my out yard and saw that they're actually doing really well. I'm going to take some boxes out there tomorrow.
So let me understand this photo. So the way it looks to me, and I'll share it. You mind if I share it?
No, go ahead.
Okay. So Brad,
see my messy honey house.
Entire screen. We'll do the picture here. We'll make it big there. So that's your senior capping spinner, right?
That's right.
So you use your uncapper, and instead of going into an extruder like you see some of the setups, yours is just going straight into the spinner there.
Well, this is what's proposed. I don't know how well this is going to work, but we'll see. Maybe it won't work well at all.
So here's just looking at the setup. So once, obviously, the way your table is, you're going to have cappings, or they're going to fall straight in. Then what do you got to? How hard is it going to be to scoop those back out of that extractor once you've spun all the honey out of it?
Very hard. You either got to move the uncapper or pull the spinner out from under it. That spinner is really heavy too. It's surprising how much that thing weighs.
So what if you had like a car jack on one end where you could just jack the uncapper up so you could get your arm down in there and scoop it and then let it back down?
Yeah, you're thinking the right way, I think. and I was just talking about this with my wife and how we might want to do this, and I have actually some wheels that I've used on my workbench. If you're watching last winter, some of the work I did in my wood shop on some cabinetry and stuff, I used these wheels that clip down. You can step on them and they flip down and they lift the cabinet or bench or something up just I don't know, 3/4 of an inch so you can move it. I'm thinking that maybe those wheels on the uncapper legs might be the answer, so I can just flip those down and push that uncapper aside a little bit instead of moving the spinner.
And it would raise it up. Well, you can't even see me. Sorry. Probably raise it up. What, about that far off the whole thing up off the ground if you put it on?
Yeah, not much. I don't know if it's an inch that it goes up, but just enough, get it to. I can move that uncapper. It's just really, really heavy. It's really heavy.
What about just to build a wood frame and put casters on the spinner, and then you can just roll the spinner out from underneath?
Sure, but you're looking at height all the time. I don't want to get anything any higher. To give you an idea what I'm dealing with, the feed chain on the uncapper where the frames feed into it is 63 inches high now.
I got you.
It's 5'3" off the ground. So I have to lift all of my. I don't have a deboxer, not yet anyway. So I have to lift all those frames up there. One or two at a time.
Right.
So yeah, so that's what I'm dealing with, and that spigot at the outlet of the spinner is only 10 inches up, so it's not very high at all. I need to get some kind of a bucket under that.
So that max inch spinner, that's the bigger one where they have their uncapping chain uncapper on top of it.
Yeah, that's the bigger one. Yeah. So they call the senior. They have a junior and a senior.
Yeah, it's a senior. Okay.
Yeah, it's a heavy duty unit. Some of the welding on it looks like it was done by a toddler, but it's heavy duty.
By a toddler.
Well, it does.
You're paying the extra for his training.
I think so. I should take some pictures of it, especially the outlet on the thing, the way it's welded in there. I'm confident that I could have welded that better. And you've seen my welding jobs. I'm not a good welder.
But overall, you like the piece of equipment, though.
Well, I don't know. I haven't used it yet. I've slid it under the uncapper. That's all. I mean, as far as quality goes, yeah, it's okay. There's a couple of really stupid things about it, though, the way they made it. And I don't know if I can describe it well because you didn't see it in the picture. But they make this nice stainless steel unit, and the lid on it has a square hole in the lid. And the idea is you're supposed to just use your hot knife and uncap right over that square hole. It has a bit of a...
all right. So first, that's the first issue.
Right.
If you have this piece of equipment, you're probably not using a hot knife to uncap. So
that's exactly what I believe.
To have that incorporated in it, to me, is stupid.
Yeah. So anyway, they do, and not only that, but around that square or the rectangular hole in the lid, they have wood. Like they have this nice stainless steel thing, but they've screwed wood to the top of this for you to, put your frame on and uncap it and everything. There's three sides that are rimmed with wood pieces. I looked underneath to see how that wood was attached. There's rusty old drywall screws or something screwing that wood on there.
That's
This nice
terrible.
stainless steel, beautiful stainless steel system, and there's rusty old Phillips head screws holding this wood on there. Why is there wood to begin with? And why is there rusty old screws holding it on from the bottom? That's
that
crazy.
retails for over $6,000.
$6,200 US is their
Plus
list.
shipping. Plus shipping. So
Yeah.
that's the
So yeah, that's really goofy. And again, some of the welds on it, maybe they're being kind and hiring blind welders or something now, but
Well, now
I don't think that's a good idea.
You bought that off of like a Facebook type thing, didn't you? It's
Supply-
used, right?
No, the guy I know had it.
oh,
and he didn't patch it or weld it or fix it or anything like that, right?
No, it was in the crate when I got it. He had it for quite a few years, but it was in the crate.
That's right.
He never used it.
That's right. It was new old stock, never been used.
Yeah, it's exactly. It's new old stock. It's probably 5 years old, but it was in the crate.
All right, so here's the service announcement for today. Oh, hold on. Ready?
Yeah, no, don't do that. Don't support the Blind Welders Union local. That's not a good idea.
Hey, they're putting people to work that need work, man.
Yeah. Well, get them to weld something that's not supposed to hold honey and whatnot. I don't even know if the thing's going to leak. I was looking at it today, and the weld around that outlet is so terrible that I think it might leak. So
All right.
I don't know what.
But before we get a bunch of flack, guys, if you've been watching the channel long enough, you know we have warped sense of humor around here. So don't be hating. That's just how we do.
So yeah, I hate Phillips screws more than the fact that they're rusty. You're right, because I hate Phillips screws, but it's ridiculous that they're rusty Phillips screws and not stainless screws.
Yeah.
Like I could go to my hardware store. I'll go to my hardware store and I buy a little package of stainless screws if I was going to do something like that. But I mean, it's stupid to put wood on there anyway. Make this thing out of stainless steel, and then you put wood on it.
It's in there, stainless steel, right?
Well, the grate is stainless steel.
That's
so anyway. I don't get. It almost seems like that wooden part is somebody. They built this thing and got it all made and looked at it and thought, oh,
they could have literally cut a queen excluder down. A metal queen excluder to go in there, and it probably would have fit the same purpose.
No, I should take a picture of what I'm trying to describe. There's a grate.
Oh yeah,
that the wax and honey goes down through, but around that grate, three sides of it, there's wooden blocks. It's
I've
like
seen
an inch
pictures
high
of
and an
them.
inch wide or something. Yeah.
Yeah, on the little one, you're supposed to dump your capping wax through that grate or something like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, this piece right here on top.
Yeah.
The beauty of the we can get a better picture of it right there.
The interwebs.
Yeah,
That's
Brad,
exactly
I
it.
would put water in it first to see if it leaks.
Well, I did. The vessel doesn't leak, but the outlet of it looks really terrible. But it's the outlet, so it should just run out just fine. Yeah, so that wooden part, that's screwed in from underneath with rusty drywall screws. That's kind of stupid. It looks like a really nice unit, other than that.
Well, I mean, what do you expect for $6,200? I mean, geez,
Yeah,
you're asking a lot. You're asking a freaking lot for $6,200.
Yeah, you are. Well, I wouldn't pay 62. Well, actually, I know another guy who has one. He's had it quite a while, and I don't know if he bought it new for 62-ish $100, and
Brad,
that's U.S. dollars too. So
you almost
that's
had
like
me.
50,000 Canadian.
You almost had
What's
me
that?
buying the junior capping spinner. I'm like, I don't need the big one, but if Brad likes it, maybe the junior would work.
Well, I'll tell you how I like it. But anyway, another buddy, he's got one. He's had it for quite a few years, and he's like, I think he takes it to bed with him. He loves it so much. He thinks it's just the best thing ever. He says it's the best money he ever spent. He said that thing has saved him, it paid for itself 10 times over.
Now, hey, I
in the
will
time he's
say
had it.
that sometimes wooden metal comes in very effective. I mean, in World War II, the Japanese put wooden fins on their torpedoes to sink a lot of ships in Pearl Harbor, and it proved to be very effective in the long run. So maybe this is a similar situation where the wooden metal just worked, just worked.
Were those food grade torpedoes?
Well, I don't know. Maybe they did shoot at breakfast time, so maybe they were. Maybe they were. I don't know.
Yeah. Well, I think if I had a serious, if I had a government inspected kind of facility sort of thing, and they saw that wooden rim in there, they just say no.
Well, first of all, the wooden rim is porous, and that's where they usually get you, is because it would allow bacteria growth. So
that's right. That's right.
Yeah,
and then you can just use the
made out of
Bob
maple
philosophy and say, but honey is antiseptic in nature, so nothing can grow in it.
Well, you and I know that. It's also hygroscopic, and when it absorbs enough moisture, it's gonna go bad.
Right.
So that's your problem.
So I know that I seen where they said on a capping spinner like that to put, what was it, window screen mesh around the outer wall so it actually does a better job.
Yeah. There's a little roll of window screen in it. It's a really nice basket. It's a very heavy duty basket.
But is it metal, or is it the vinyl or the other fabric one? The screen.
Window screen? I don't know. I think it's
because that window screen does rust if it's metal.
I think it's the vinyl. But now, so you got this thing. Of course, you got the capping machine, and you're trying to separate
wax from honey.
The wax from honey at a higher rate, I guess you would say. I mean, like Bob's on capping table, it's got a grate, so it's dripping down. So I guess it's just more of an idea of doing it quicker and faster.
Well, it's a continuous process of his, right?
Kind of. You'd need to pull it out and empty it, once a day or whatever.
Mm-hmm.
Until now, I was using a fairly nice stainless steel Man Lake uncapping tank, and so it's like you say, Charlie. It's got that grate in the bottom, and so all the wax and honey goes in there, and I just pail it off from there in batches and dump it into the. I'll either dump it right in the extractor, or I'll dump it in the sump directly.
Mm-hmm.
But so this is kind of this is kind of the same thing. It's just that spinning, it should spin far more of the honey out of the wax, and when I clean it out, then my wax should be, pretty darn dry, hopefully.
Yeah. So the I mean, I can see the purpose for it for sure, especially if you do it like Mr. Ed does it, right, where he just puts it all in the barrel and then puts it all in there and lets it separate itself, and then then he can pump it right out. So I mean, that would be
well. I watched quite a few videos, guys using them, and usually on the videos the guys are using the juniors, but it should be the same thing. And then talking to my buddy who has one, I didn't realize he had one, and he piped up on social media and he said he had one, and so I've been asking him about it. And man, does he ever love that thing? So I'm hoping that I enjoy mine as much as he does his.
Jeremy says for $6,200, it better pull the honey out of the boxes for him.
Yeah,
but and guys, this piece of equipment is not for everyone, right? I mean, it's really not. I mean,
no, for
we're
sure
looking
not.
at scale, right? Scale.
I'm uncapping, 10,000 pounds of honey in, a couple of weeks, and I produce a lot of wax. I produce 150 pounds of wax, and getting the honey out of the wax is money in the bank, right?
Right.
Because I sell that honey. If I can't get that honey out of the wax without
Then it's wasted.
damaging the honey, which you do if you heat it enough to get the honey out of the wax, and then you damage the honey. So yeah, this thing theoretically should pay for itself in maybe 1 to 2 years.
Well, it's like
extracting.
with me, I went from a 5-gallon bucket to that Hive Butler uncapping tank, and the Hive Butler is $200, and shoot, the first 2 or 3 inches of honey that you pull out of there's enough honey coming out of there that you're recovering. It's already paid for it, and of course, in the easeability of it too, compared to that bucket.
Well, even an uncapping tank, you don't realize. I'm telling you right now, if you don't have an uncapping tank, you do not realize how much honey that you are
leaving on the table.
You're leaving the money out there.
Yep. Absolutely.
I mean, absolutely. I don't know how much it was the first time I drained it, and that's another thing. I was talking to one of my members in my club, and we have equipment for the members to borrow, and uncapping tank is one of them. And he was talking about, the cappings and how they were still wet and different things like that. And I said, yeah, if you have your own tank and you leave those cappings in there for about a week and maybe stir them up with your hands, kind of take the dry cappings off the top, and
warm.
Huh? Oh, it's got to be in a hot environment too. Got to be in a hot environment, 80, 90 degrees at least, where my stuff is kept, and it'll drain. And I mean, you'll have, if it's a fair amount, you might have a half a bucket full of honey in there. And then when I was getting ready to clean it up and put it away, I mean, there was, I don't know, maybe an inch in there, and it's a pretty good sized tub. There was 15 pounds of honey in there. That's $150.
Well, it paid for your uncapping tank.
Oh, it's been paying for itself for the last 2 or 3 years, over and over and over.
Hey, Shane. Oh, he's talking about in Canada. I forgot he's in Canada. I was about to say Hilco has them for like $199 US, but I don't know if they ship to Canada or not. I'm sure they probably would. But what I find works well for me, like with the
$450 for a
Canadian, $450 Canadian.
Why so much? What is it with your country up there?
The shipping up there to get it there is the expensive part, and
but it's got to be some kind of import taxes or something up there.
It's made in America, or at least so it comes from there. So shipping, and there's import duties and taxes, everything. Since NAFTA was killed, we've been hurting quite a bit with that cross-border shipping thing.
With just the paint strainer in a bucket, for an initial strain, if you just get one of those, and I have them here somewhere, but just the paint strainer in the 5-gallon bucket, if you just let all your honey go into that bucket, and what I do is I lift my bucket up and put it on the edge, and an accident could happen, but I put it on the edge of my uncapping table, and then I pull the strainer out and let it drain out, and all the wax that's left in there, I set it in my uncapping tank and let it drip out of the bag and into the thing, and I can recover the the finer strained honey that way. And then I run the bucket through a finer micron strainer, and that gets most all of it out. And whatever I don't get out floats to the top of the uncapping tank or the bottom.
Well, Bob,
tank.
you got that press. How's it working?
Well, I've used it once, and it worked pretty good. I mean, it pressed most of the honey out of it. I mean, did I get 100% of the honey out? Nope. But I got most of it out. And I took the disc and put it over in the solar melter and melted it down, and worked fine. So
I think the key to getting most of the honey out is, like Charlie said, it's heat. You can get it in a 90, 95 degree environment. It'll run out. It might take a day or two to run out of that paint strainer like you're talking about.
Mm-hmm.
But that does pretty good. Shoot.
But see, the thing is, yeah, I mean, all of it works. All the methods work well. But is it a method that works well with your scale, right? So obviously doing that, Brad couldn't do that because it would take too long. His honey processing would take way too long to do that. So that's why he has to get the bigger equipment and stuff like that. And that's what
having an environment. Yeah, having an environment that warm, that would take me to putting it in my shop, and out there, I might have mice and all kind of roaches and all kind of stuff running around out there. In the house, I can do it, but it's going to be 68, 70 degrees in the house.
So to give an idea of scale, and I'm not bragging that I'm the biggest beekeeper around or anything, but just where I'm at is when I'm done, like I'll drain my cappings in the capping tank, drain as much honey as will come out of it at that point, and then I'll put it all in 5-gallon pails until I'm completely done my extracting. And I'll usually have at least a dozen 5-gallon pails full of cappings, and I pack it in there too. It's not loose. So that's kind of what I'm looking at. And my melter will hold about a barrel's worth of wax. I have to do 2 batches. I can't get it all in one barrel load and one melter load. So that's what I'm doing, Larry. Exactly what you're talking about is I put everything in my wax melter, and then I warm it up and I let it drain, and it takes a week. Every day I'll go in there and I'll drain off another pail of honey or half a pail of honey or something. It just takes a long, long time. So that's what I'm working on. So I'm hoping that the spinner will dry the cappings enough that then I can put it in these 5-gallon pails, but there won't be really any honey to speak of in the cappings to drain off. I can just go straight from that to a melt.
Which will save you time.
We're kind of in the frontier stages of this Apis Biologics. I wonder how the Apis Biologics honey would do for human consumption. Would it give us an extra boost?
You're not supposed to feed.
Bob.
You're not supposed to feed with honey supers on. That's all we're saying.
No, it's personal consumption. I'm not putting it out in the market. It's number 2 honey. But, if it's giving the bees a boost, what would it do for us? Man, I'm getting wore out.
Are you a bee?
No, but we both have to have protein, carbohydrates, water.
Do you know that cat food and dog food are very different formulations because dog food is very, 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 very bad for cats? They're a whole lot more similar than bees and people.
You got a point.
Okay.
But
and your
again,
digestion system is very, very different than that of a bee. Your immune system is very different than that of a bee. Your circulatory and your respiratory system is very different than that of a bee. There's almost nothing similar to between you and a bee.
The only thing that I can say in reference to that is that if the bees are taking it in and they're consuming that protein and everything ahead of time, then what they're regurgitating back to make into honey, if Apis is doing what it says it is, mimicking floral nectar. Now, mimicking, it's not floral nectar, but it mimics floral nectar.
You
Then
should be able to make honey out of apis syrup.
you should be able to. I didn't say it. I'm not putting that out there. I'm not advertising that, but it would be logical.
Maybe you could make vegan honey.
Vegan honey.
And we're in the frontier
Non-GMO
stages of this. We don't know where it's going.
The
10 years, we might have a whole different concept on the stuff.
well, what I can attest to is that using the Apis has improved the health of my bees and the amount of bees that I have. And
mine are looking a lot better.
I don't know whether
they did last year.
I don't know whether the word, maybe I'm not up on my definitions, but I don't know if I would use the word mimic. To me, that word to me means that it's not really nectar. It's still sugar water. And I don't think so. I think that the inventor of Apis, it puts everything that's in nectar in your sugar water, and to me, my definition of it is it turns your sugar water into nectar. And I think the bees survive on sugar water, but they thrive on Apis biologic sugar water. I think it's turned to some type of very close to real nectar, I think, in my opinion.
nectar is sugar water with proteins and everything in it.
Well, what I'm talking about is all the other nectar is not just sugar water.
No, I was just reading what DC said. Nectar is sugar water.
Well, that's not true. You figure if you analyze nectar, it's got all kinds of nutrients and stuff that's not in sugar.
Trace minerals, several things. Is the Apis biologic, is it a chemical ingredients in it, or is it actually the concentrate from plants? I don't know that about it.
It's just proteins and vitamins and minerals.
I understand there's nothing synthetic in it.
Yeah,
it's all natural, plant derived.
Did you see that? What Gunline said? Said they fed it to the hummingbirds this year and they loved it. Had more hummingbirds than years in the past. So. And
well, like I say, I mean, my own.
I told Andrew he needs
concept of it is you put that in your sugar water and it turns it into as close to nectar as possible. Real, natural nectar. I'll say.
I told Andrew he needed to package it up as a hummingbird supplement and market it to a whole nother group of people.
First year I had bees, my wife had a hummingbird feeder out on the deck, and she'd been using that for a few years, making hummingbird feed. And hummingbird syrup is very, very thin. There's very little sugar in it. And one day she mistakenly picked up a jar of my 2-to-1 and filled her hummingbird feeder. I swear the hummingbirds were leaving contrails going across the yard.
They're getting out of there. Didn't want nothing to do with that.
They were doing like Mach 2 across the yard, back and forth.
That's funny. Oh my gosh.
They had contrails as it's coming out of them, right?
That's exactly. It was a little contrails behind the hummingbirds. It's like, holy cow.
I'm going to try some of that Apis Biologics honey this weekend, and I'm going to go through my hives. As much as I've been pumping it to them for the last 3 weeks, they've got to have some in their capped. If not capped, I don't care. I'm going to try it anyway. I mean, it's got to be fit for human consumption. You can't say that it's, not fit for human consumption.
Well, there is, and this is going to draw skepticism right now. I'm going to get the hate. But if you look at it, the difference between funny honey that you would assume came from China, right, or another country where they adulterate it with rice syrup they're actually taking their raw honey and they're adding that syrup to it and then selling it. The difference between that and adulterated bee honey, right, with sugar syrup in it, it's still going into the bee gut. The bee gut is still adding enzymes
Filtering it.
to it and adding it back. I would say that you probably, without some chemistry behind it, that you would not, it'd be hard for you to tell the difference between sugar water honey and honey. I mean, if it's mixed in with everything
Well,
doing, right?
I ate some sugar water honey 2 weeks ago just to see what it tasted like, and it was syrupy, but it was just pure sugar syrup, is what it reminded me of.
So
it didn't have a honey taste to it.
Not at all. Yours didn't have a honey taste at all to it?
No, it was just sweet.
So you
syrupy.
fed it like during the dearth?
Yeah.
When they had nothing else
coming
in.
Yeah, there's no natural floral nectar coming in.
Right. I've been feeding them every 2 days for the last 8-9 weeks. It's they're about to break me.
Yeah, I need to put some feed out. I haven't put it out in a week now. I put 40 gallons out last week, and in one sitting, and it was gone in about 2 hours, 2.5 hours. All of it sucked dry. So
yeah, I just hope we got a good fall flow, goldenrod or something, because I don't know how much longer I can keep feeding. Sugar's gone up this year.
What is it? What are you paying for it now?
I think it's right at 15 per 25 pound, and we were getting it for 12.
Yeah, I got to go back
for 25 pound at Walmart. Now that's not Domino. That's that blue bag. You know.
Yeah, it's 60 cents a pound. That's what it was kind of going for last year.
And for the last, I don't know if the cutout honey, you know, the nutrition value of honey versus sugar water. I've heard that sugar water is better for them than, you know, raw honey. And I've been pulling them a lot of weeks with just honey out of cutouts. But they will take the sugar water over the honey. I'll have 2 5-gallon buckets out there, one with cone, you know, and honey in it, and the other bucket with straw and sugar water, and they'll jump on the sugar water and spill the honey.
What's the
Nancy's saying that she's feeding a Hive Alive patty. Is that a pollen patty or is that a fondant, Nancy?
I couldn't feed fondant here this time of year. It just melt down in between the frames.
And then Nancy had you missed, I don't know if you guys seen it. She has a wax melter where she put her, it's fondant. Okay. She put her queen excluders in there to melt the wax and the crud off the queen excluder. I'm like, that's a good idea. I never even thought about that. It's like,
what'd she do?
She put a queen excluder inside the wax melter and knock off the wax, and instead of, like, I've had a heat gun and you're sitting there, you know, trying to clean your queen excluders for next year. I'm like, darn, I'm going to try that. Hopefully mine will fit in there. I think it will.
So I clean mine in my, well, it's in my wax melter, but
is it?
Yeah, works great. Not my solar, but you know, my big melter. I just jam.
Yeah, I never gave that a thought.
Yeah, it's been a I can't, you can, we know who's got the money feeding that expensive fondant in the middle of the summer. Nancy's rolling over there. How much that fondant is pretty high dollar. Let me see. One time I tasted honey from a new bee. that was feeding syrup throughout the flow. It actually tasted pretty close to normal honey. If she didn't tell me, I wouldn't have guessed it was funny. Nancy said, "Ha ha." Yeah, I've never tried the Hive Alive product. I mean, everybody seems to like it, but everybody that seems to like it also is getting a paycheck from them. So I don't know.
I don't know. I'll tell you more about it this fall when I get
Charlie.
my.
I don't know what you're talking about.
No, years ago, it cost too much. Yeah, that's funny. It's, what are you talking about? Buying $6,200 wax spinners. How much was your uncapper bottle? Yeah, that's different, man. Quit bringing. That's old news, man. That stuff's like a couple months old now. Look at Charlie. Oh, Charlie. That's it. Your word just went downhill right there.
Hey,
He's a company man now. He's sold out.
Nah, I didn't sell out.
It's like NASCAR. He's going to come in tomorrow like he's been on a bass boat at a fishing tournament and have like 50 different logos on his shirt. Charlie's going to be like, today I'm using my Pierce Hive tool in with my Man Lake Queen excluder, using my Pure Co beehive. You know, it's going to be funny. I'm going to do that. I will do that before it's done. Before I'm done with this YouTube journey, I'm going to make stickers up of every product that's in a hive. And I'm going to announce it like it's a NASCAR. Well, today in the number 6 licensed polystyrene hive, we've got
Hive Alive.
Oh. You're going to start seeing sponsor labels on his hives. I know. See, that's it. Well, you know, and Andrew will say Hive Alive and Apis are different. They're different products, right? They do similar things, but they're a little bit different from what I gather. So, Charlie, is your show sponsored? Nope. No more swarms.
It's not sponsored, no, but they sent me a product here. We're gonna test
Full
it out.
disclosure, they sent him product. There you go. There it is. Charlie needs an UT sponsorship. Absolutely. I'm boycotting.
Nancy wants to know I got my plane ticket. No, we're gonna. Pam doesn't like to drive, and
see that? Here you go. The Apame 44 hive is doing great. It's coming in right behind the license number 36 car, and the and that's what we're gonna. That's what the shows are boiling down to nowadays. Some of them, you guys got on me when I was talking about Apis all the time, right? When I started carrying Apis, and Swarmlore, I stopped pretty much talking about it at all. After I got the word out there, I was done, and I just, it's funny now. Now I watch stuff and it's like, oh my gosh. Now I'm more aware, I guess. I don't know, hypersensitive after taking my beatings, and now I watch streams and it's like, this product, you can get this product, and we're going to have this guy over here with this product this weekend, and if you buy this product, we're going to give you this product for free with it. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it's hard for me to even bear. So let me see. But yeah, it does. They are different supplements, but they're both supplements, and one costs much more than the other. Yep, that is true. That is true.
Kind of like livers versus gizzards.
Yep. I like the gizzards, but I ain't eating no livers. That's it.
Charlie, you was talking about open air bees earlier. I caught I got an open air beehive out of a tree. It was back in probably early June. And I couldn't keep those bees in a box. I mean, I'd put them in a box and 2 weeks later, here they go. And I'd put them back in another box. And here they go again. They done it 3 times. I said, well, I'm going to stop that. So I put a queen excluder at the bottom to trap the queen in. And it was probably a month later that a virgin queen tried to get into that hive, and she had a pretty good number of bees with her. And I'm thinking they superseded the queen that was in there and made another one, and the virgin went through the queen excluder, went out, got mated, and couldn't get back in.
Mm-hmm.
What do you think about that?
So I've heard that where a mated queen will come back with a group of worker bees, I guess, or bees back to the hive. Have you seen that? I've never seen that myself.
I've seen bees come out of other hives and go to a mated queen. I have trapped mated queens, you know, just when I had like 90-something hives all in one spot. There were queens laying in the yard out there, you know, with a ball of bees on them, where they were trying to get back in after being mated. And I'd cage them and hang them up with a line, you know, and just see what would happen. And I seen bees come from other hives and go to that cage, you know, and just keep building up until it gets to a kind of like a hardball size and put them out of box. And I don't know if the bees go back to their old hive or stay with the new queen. I think she attracts bees from everywhere. And I've also seen, you know, one hive will start swarming in my bee yard, and next thing I know, here come 2 more boxes emptying out. And they all make one huge swarm, and then I have to go through and hash out and try to figure out which queen come from which box. Here they are trying to ball 2 queens over here, you know, that come out of boxes. It's chaos sometimes.
Mm-hmm. No, you know, I know queens can smell or sense or whatever it is they do for queenless hives that they'll fly into. And then I have seen several years back that I don't know. My eye picked up on it, and you could see a queen. I guess she was coming from her mating flight, and she flew right into the hive. And I was trying to jump in there to try to find her, but I never did. But she stayed there.
Yeah, I've seen them come back in and hit the wrong box on the back end. And, you know, next thing you know, bees are all with her. And I can't figure out where she come from. And so I just start another box. And I don't know. But
No, let it go.
the biggest chaos I've seen since I've been a beekeeper is when they go into a feeding frenzy. Man, that's a horror show.
What, going in and killing a
Go
small
into a real robbing session.
Yeah, I've had that in 2-frame mating boxes, but that's where I use Pro Sweet, and I don't use any sugar water. And because my mating boxes are alongside my big production hives, and that pretty much solves that problem. They can't smell that stuff. And Fresca, I haven't seen that in a long time.
Oh, we got that down here too. Now you take a shot of vodka and mix it with that. He's already got it.
At one time, I had all my production hives in another yard.
Yeah.
Away from my 5-frame boxes. My mating boxes. And that
right. Well, like
a
the
whole
hives
lot.
behind me, they're all my production hives. And then to my right, I guess you would say, towards that white and purple hive on down the line, there's all my 20 nukes or more down through there. And then the hives over in the back here next to the wagon, I have, usually that's where my mating boxes are. And actually I have 4 hives right now that are mated queens that came back, and I've switched them over to a 5-frame like I showed in my video this past week. So they're doing all right.
Brad, when are you going to start your harvest there?
Next week, I think.
Probably not for a couple of weeks. Really depends on how the flow goes. The flow just kind of can sometimes linger on here. If the flow just lingers on, then it'll be, last week in August that I'll pull honey. At least start pulling honey. Takes me a while. Like last year I was pulling honey. I don't think it was dearth at all, even when I was pulling honey last year. You know how the bees get kind of wild and they get kind of aggressive.
Mm-hmm.
I remember last year I didn't even have to change my attire, as you may be familiar with how I dress when I keep my bees.
So you had your bee shorts on?
Hold all my honey with my bee shorts and my veil, and it was all good. So I think there was probably a little bit of a flow on even then, and that was, Labor Day.
Mm-hmm.
So I'm doing some extracting next week, but it's a small custom job I'm doing for a guy. So I'm setting up the honey house for that. So I hope it all goes well. I'm going to see James on Saturday.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah. James is coming down to pick up some more stuff. So it's just fast trip though, so I'll only see him for a few hours on Saturday probably.
What's he going to do? Load up and turn around and go back?
Pretty much.
And that's what, 18 hours one way?
18 hours. He couldn't fit on his uncapper table tank tray thing when he was here, so he's come back to get it.
I'll be interested to see how that uncapper comes together. It's got the fresh paint job on it and everything.
He's really done a nice job on it.
It's gonna look
It'll look like a brand new. It'll look like perfectly brand new, just like he did a Class A manufactured job on that wax tank that he built. He showed that thing was just perfect.
Well, he has the benefit of having a whole metal shop at his work too.
James doesn't do anything halfway.
Right.
I told him I'm going to bring my uncapper up next year. He can rebuild that in the off season. It's exactly the same as his. So I remember when it was here, we went and saw that one, and he kind of bought it on site. So we brought it home, and then we went to mine and put some frames in it and ran it through so he could get a really good feel for exactly how the thing is supposed to operate, and just told him what I know about it, which isn't everything, but the different stuff that I've adjusted on it and to make it feed.
Well, the way he made it sound was the company was very helpful with sending him like the plans and everything, or parts and stuff like that to help him rebuild it.
I personally, as much stuff as I've seen him build, like that wax tank and all that, I would think he'd be very capable of making his own honey, extraction line type of thing, to be quite honest with you.
And I kind of think that's the direction he's angling too. I mean,
I think he could probably do a 60 frame extractor easy.
And I don't know for sure, but I think that he's talking about doing that. He's been looking at some ideas. I don't know if that's what it'll end up being, but he can probably manufacture it cheaper than buying it, right? I mean, because there's got to be some profit in there, but if it breaks down and you built it, there is no warranty. You are the warranty department at that point, right?
Well, even warranty is, I don't know, about as good as what the paper's written on in most cases.
And if you're the
That's
guy
right.
designing it and you're the guy building it and you're the guy who's going to have to service it, you're going to build it so that you can service it, right?
Right.
Not these crazy engineered things that you go to service and you think, what in the world were they thinking? Well, the guy who was designing it wasn't the guy who was going to service it, so he didn't care.
Right.
Not interested in that.
DC, I haven't seen
Yeah,
that.
I'd gotten a $50 flashlight, and the thing was giving me some problems, so I was going to send it back to the company. It was like 9 months old, and the shipping was $25 one way, $25 another way. So,
You could have just bought a new flashlight
oh yeah.
for the shipping.
Brad, Bob, Charlie, I appreciate y'all letting me come in tonight
Oh, no
and chat with
problem.
y'all, but my
We're
low
always
battery
looking for
light
new
just
visitors. Come
on.
on, come on over to my channel tomorrow night.
I would surely try to, but
All
I've
right,
enjoyed talking with y'all.
I presume that you're
About an hour
subscribed.
for bed.
I say
Yeah,
I
I do.
presume you're subscribed to Bob's channel and my channel, even Brad's
Yeah.
channel.
Even Brad's
Yep.
channel. Brad got
Even-
subs out of all.
Even my channel. Even my channel.
Brad,
As a
I
last
found
resort.
him.
At
But-
all, but no, I'll be putting out the notice tonight, and come on over and have a good time. Always good to talk with new people, new areas of the country and
Yep,
everything.
yep. I'd
It's,
love to go up the East Coast sometimes, but like I said, I'm gonna need to win the lottery to get me some gas.
Yeah, I bought a
Head that
couple
way.
tickets. We'll see what happens.
I'm about as far north as I've been in this part of the state. So anyway, but have y'all ever heard of Meridian?
Yes, I was in the Navy, so
Oh, are you familiar with our Navy base?
I've never been there, but I know that's a training base for some of our
Right.
aviation stuff.
I am 4 miles from there. I can hear them playing the national anthem early Sunday morning from my house.
I'm about that close to the Army base here, and I can definitely hear 50 cals. I feel like I'm in Chicago instead of in the country. I can hear all kinds of automatic gunfire.
Downtown
Grenade
Meridian.
launcher.
Yeah. Well, gentlemen, I've enjoyed it. I'm going to bed.
All right,
You have a good one. Thank you.
Yep, good to see you.
All
All
right,
right, Larry.
good.
See you tomorrow, Larry.
I'm trying to look up this honey straw thing here.
Yeah, it's cheaper to buy the darn things.
Well, what DC's saying is Kaylee over at the Honeystead said there's a new easy straw filling machine. But is it easy straw? Is it? Oh, there it is. Easy straw filler, commercial grade, does 50 straw capacity. How much do you think it is? Let's the over and under. $1,500 over or under, Brad?
Over. More like 2,500.
I'm going to delay until I load the webpage.
I see a picture of it. I don't know if it's got a
Put it up.
an actual. Let's see.
Well,
easy-
definitely she's going to demo it. She ain't going to pay for it.
$1,800 plus shipping and handling. So the over
$1,800.
wins.
2,500 bucks.
$1,800. So you can
No,
do
it's like
50
this.
straws at a time.
It's $1,800. That's what that is.
$1 million.
That's $1,800.
That man.
What's it look like? Is that round thing from Hive Life?
Let me see. I'll show it. Da-da-da. Looks like this thing, and it's got the little spinner thing on top, the centrifuge.
So where's... They don't show me anything.
Well, Yeah, if you click on it, all you see is this box. So maybe
don't-
Kaylee does a thing on it. I don't know. It doesn't say anything either. But $1,800. So you would have to sell a whole bunch of honey straws. We see Easy Straw Filler allows you to change the profit margins on your 1 pound of honey. Yields approximately 60 to 70 straws per 1 pound of honey.
So you're going to sell them for $1.
I would
Now the
sell
thing at the
those for
top
50
up there is where you
cents,
put the straws in,
Right here.
and it spins it around. I think sling it out into the straw. I guess.
And then you got to have, you probably still have to have the crimper thing, right? Or at least a sealer. They're in Tennessee. But hey, that's
I guarantee you they were at the hive.
I've had one person in 5 years come to my truck and ask me, did I have honey straws? One.
We buy them for the club, 2,000 of them, and we just give them away for like 10 cents a piece. You can buy them for 10 cents a piece.
No.
Can't
No, I'm
make them
just
here
saying.
anymore. I used to sell quite a few of them. Can't make them anymore.
Let me see.
They're no longer available.
No. I don't. For what it does, I think it's high. That's why I haven't bought one. You can buy a $700 one or something from Man Lake, but it's a bucket like an IV drip into the straw. And it's like, that's why I haven't bought anything like that yet. And, but a lot of people, if you go to shows and stuff, they sell a bunch of them from what I gather, but
Big hit at shows.
But
it's one of those things that
the thing of it is, though, I mean,
for me to buy
when it comes to
some
when it
machinery,
comes to commercial, you're not putting one straw on. You're going to make a tube and have a crimper cutter, and it's and you're done.
well,
Roll of straw material.
Yeah.
Right. And it just feeds through, fills it up, cuts them all at one time. They drop but
yeah,
it's going to is what Brian says. But
Yeah.
Brian goes to a lot of markets, right? So
That's
for
what
me,
we sell for 50 cents a piece.
but
It's $75 a kilogram for honey. is what my honey straws work out to.
And I mean, yeah, they do. I mean, I'm not saying they don't do good, but what I am saying is if I have $1,600 right at this moment and I could buy a honey straw filler or a honey clarifier, at this point of what I'm doing, I would buy the honey clarifier. It's just that's not a priority because I can buy honey straws, right? I can buy honey straws. Yeah, it costs you a little bit more or whatever, but if I was doing that, then at this point it would make more sense for me to buy the straws. Like a sausage machine, exactly.
Yeah.
Yeah, 3,600 straws is the break-even point. Well, no problem. Get set up at the state
That's not
fair.
that bad. That doesn't take that long.
Sell 3,600.
It take a couple of years. The way I would sell them would take me a couple of years.
But yeah, I mean, for the price and what it is, I think that's cheaper than the one they had at Hive Life last year. Pretty sure.
Yeah, but I would like to. We would go out and investigate, like these folks they're selling like straws or whatever, 2,000 of them, they're retailing them in bulk. It's like, let's go see their machine. I guarantee it's like a sausage stuffer.
Well,
or it's
you got to look at it. If they're selling honey straws, and even if they're selling it less, they're still getting more than $10 a pound or something like that for it, right? So I mean, it definitely is a good margin. But I would have to let me see. I'm trying to catch up. It's the same one. Okay. Is it cheaper? It seems like it's cheaper now than what it was at the show.
Sure, you're not paying for the booth.
So let's see. How many people in the chat over here sell honey straws? If you sell honey straws, I don't know, say me or something. And that way we can kind of see who's in that honey straw market.
Or straw.
I should say, let's preface that because I know Brian sells them, but Brian doesn't make them. How many of you make your own honey straws right now? Yeah, the reseller thing. Yeah. So Daisy makes his own. I think he syringes them. But that's a lot of syringing too. James does it.
I'll be back.
I thought about buying some, but again, I've only had the one person, and I haven't been to any markets yet. So for me to buy that at this point would not be a thing. 50 to 100 per week, Russell sells, and he buys them. So that's what happened to Tony's machine. Tony who? Tony who? So hey, Brad, it's just me and you at the moment. Charlie went out for a popcorn.
Just me and you. Charlie went for popcorn.
I had to boycott my favorite popcorn, man. I hate it. I hate it. I hate it. I took a political stand against my popcorn.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Well, don't ruin it for me. I enjoy my popcorn.
You eat the smart food popcorn?
No.
Oh well, then you'll be all right. So
Conagra, Orville Redenbacher.
All right. I like the smart food white cheddar popcorn. Right. And they kind of did the Bud Light a little bit. So
did they?
Well, they have a nice rainbow iridescent sheen to it, and it says it had a whole celebrate like being very prideful campaign behind it. And I have nothing.
It's popcorn.
It's fucking popcorn.
It's popcorn, people.
Right.
It's popcorn. Just just leave it alone. It's yummy and it's popcorn. That's all.
And I have no and I'm not anti that lifestyle, right? But I'm very
you do whatever you want, but it's popcorn. Right. It's just popcorn. Like it doesn't have to be about everything. It's popcorn.
And that's the thing is that I just was like that just finally was enough. I just
it's like bee people making every conversation about bees. Like sometimes it's not about bees, but we'll make it about bees.
Right. This is our new bee flavored popcorn and our bee flavored ice cream.
Bee flavored popcorn.
And here's our bee flavored bathing suit where you can tuck your drone, and it's like it's just crazy. Yeah. So I mean, for me, I realize
Mark says
I don't feel
Mark's been working hard.
Yeah, I don't feel threatened. It's not like I'm going to be converted, but I don't want to feel like I'm just getting something jammed, no pun intended, down my throat, to have to for the marketing part of it. So whatever. So that's why
I think Mark's been working hard because he comes on and he says, "What day is it?"
Oh, yeah.
And I get it.
It's Tuesday.
It's Thursday. I can't believe it's Thursday.
Mark, it's Tuesday. You still got 4 more days to work this week.
It's Monday.
But yeah, so that was the thing. So when I was walking through the Walmart and I saw that, I'm like, damn, now I can't even buy my popcorn.
It's just popcorn.
It's just popcorn.
Yeah, leave it alone.
And I mean, they do everything. It's ice cream. I've seen ice cream in there. I'm like, really? What does that have to do with that? Are you going to sell that much more?
Well, so to try and make it about bees, so I went to my out yard today went to my out yard today and just to check things out. And by cracky, they got a little flow going on. So we started building frames again, and I think we got just over 100 frames done. So I'll take those out in the morning and put them on some hives, and then we'll build some more. Ended up with 500 frames and foundation the other day, so got to build them up.
I've got to order some stuff, so that's going to be happening here real soon. I just need to figure out if I want to go the route less traveled and try to contact them as far as being a dealer. I don't know that it makes that much different if you're like a Man Lake dealer, if you're going to save that much. I know you don't get the free shipping, but I need to talk to Lloyd. That's who I need to talk to.
I'll tell you.
Just tell Lloyd to tell Man Lake that I'm like a branch of his. So just drop ship whatever I order to me at the dealer price, and that'll help him with his annual having to pay the amount of stuff he has to buy.
He has no problem hitting that mark.
Well, he sells it to all you guys at the club too, though. But I think it's like $10,000 worth of stuff you have to buy.
Man Lake is going back and forth on how they treat their dealerships and stuff.
No, you didn't. Wait, let me see. What link did you post? I don't see it. So hold on, Jeremy. You will get promoted, and then you can actually post the link. Dun, dun, dun. There you go. Save. There you go. Now you can post a link. And why isn't Mark one of those? Hold on.
What's that?
I'm adding moderators.
This down here on the StreamYard, it says join the chat. Is that what you were talking about?
Yeah, so you can chat right in there and it'll add it in to the stream. Yellow truck lines filed for bankruptcy. Try to post a link now, Jeremy. I know Jeremy's been busy harvesting honey. I did pull a little. I pulled 30 pounds the other day. I mean, as I was reducing boxes, I was just making honey frames and taking them in. So still pulling a little bit. But I mean, I've still got not quite 18. I've got 15 gallons in my bottling tank right now. So I'm going to have to go ahead and squish that out of there.
I filled mine up today, this evening. I put 108 pounds in there.
So between my jars and what I have in my bottling tank, I've got a lot of honey. So, well, compared to what I normally get, I've got a lot of honey. Brad would say, that's no honey. This is honey.
No, I don't pull rank on people.
All right, Anthony's Beehive honey stick machine. Let me see what that one is. All right, so that's a different one. Let me present that one. Since people, maybe we'll get Lee to buy one. He's buying all the Canon cameras that are being imported into the States right now. Said reserve yours. This is from 2021 and they still have to reserve them? Oh, and you got to have the pre-sealed empty straw. So you get one end is already sealed. Wouldn't that be hard? Wouldn't it capture air in there? How much is it? Let's see. Honey stick machine. Boom. This is it.
Maybe a vacuum sucks it down and then pushes
Oh,
honey.
Wait a minute. Why does it say that? Anthony's Beehive.shop. They don't have the shop thing in here. All right. Anthony's Beehive.shop.
Where's that located at?
I don't know. Why doesn't he have it hyperlinked on the top with shop, and then you can go to the other one? Let's see shop all. Honey straws, honey stick filling machine. All right, so they have them. It looks like with $300 up to $730. 14,000 straws empty for $500. Complete assembly for Gold Rush machine. Gold Rush machine here. Oh, that's a good price though. That's see, but this is a reserve your machine here. Availability. In stock items. Then maybe they got a new machine coming out. Maybe that's what that is. No, that's it. Okay. Well, there you go. I don't know where they located. Anybody know? Looks like they got lip balm stuff, honey ketchup, honey mustard, honey barbecue, lip balms. They're doing everything over here. Lotion.
What's a 785 number?
785.
That's a scroll that back up.
Kansas. North of Kansas City. Topeka is the main city. That's pretty good though. I'll keep that one up so I can see. Let me see. What did I miss? It's $550 for 14,000 empty straws. Someone said in China, someone told me that in China they have bottled water, but the lid has honey in it. And you tighten the lid down, and the honey is released into the water, and they sell it like a natural energy drink. And Brad is fading fast over there.
Whatever you can make money at, I guess.
Well,
Well, I am fading a bit. It's been a long day.
Well, it is getting 11 o'clock. It's about time to quit.
It's about time to quit. Okay, well, hey, Dirt Rooster, he said if we could go another hour and a half. I don't know if we made it that far. He's almost home. What did I miss? I missed something. What did Mark say? Good deal. Praise God, Mark. That's good to hear. Mark. Let me find what Mark said. So I got a good report. Cancer tumors are stable and some have even shrunk. I don't have to go to Memphis every 3 months anymore. Only back to Houston in a year. Thanks, everybody, for your prayers. Man, that is good news. Good to hear that, for sure. Let's see. So, at any rate, guys, we're going to go ahead and turn the stream off for tonight. We appreciate all of you guys, as usual, listening to our ramblings and bee talk, and, for participating and joining in. And I'm going to go watch those videos on this thing, because what I need is another gadget. I need another one.
Yes, you do.
So, anyway, guys, have a good evening, and we'll talk to you guys tomorrow night on Charlie's stream at 8 o'clock.
Good night, everybody.
Yep. See you now.